Ain't about your bread and I can't fuck with ya. I thought you was 100, but you showed me 50. You said you was gonna ride, huh? And the coupe that's parked outside, that bitch looks so expensive. I bet it cut your eye, huh?
Hey bro, this called YNW Melly breaks his silence on getting death sentence, you feel me? Now, I don't actually think we gonna hear YNW Melly actually talk, but I don't know, you feel me? Finna hop into the vid though, but hey, if YNW get out, I personally believe it's cause he ain't do it. If he don't get out, that means he did it. No cap.
Make sure that they
say without prejudice.
Yes.
Is that something
I did say without prejudice.
Thank you.
YNW Melly may have been down bad for a while now, but surprisingly enough, he's somehow managed to stay in good spirits, but the odds really aren't looking too good for him, to be honest. And for good reason. While of course the dude is innocent until proven guilty, it's just to imagine any outcome here ending up in his favor. The trial keeps getting pushed back, and to be honest, that makes sense in this case. Specifically, on April 20th, the judge pushed Melly's trial back for at least a week so that they could make sure to select a completely impartial jury. Aside from that, they need more time to work through all their pre-trial documents and to make sure that everything was in place for the trial to go smoothly. Of course, in such a high-profile national case, it can be extremely difficult for the court system to actually pick a group of jurors. First off, at this point, anyone with their thumb on the pulse of hip-hop probably knows about the case and has already made up their mind about what went down one way or another. That's in addition to all of the normal hoops and hurdles the court system has to make its way through to find a jury in any case. There's also the extra layer of this being a death penalty case, and that only puts more pressure on everyone to make sure that they know what they're doing here. Now, what actually went down that night? It's really difficult to say. There's the story that Melly puts it, and then there's the narrative that has been floating around everywhere else. There's also the truth, and only a few people are privy to that. The only people who actually know are Melly, Juvie, Sack Chaser, and Borton. There's also a witness who was likely involved for at least part of the night, but weirdly enough, the authorities have already found some inconsistencies in his story, so it's likely that he was outright lying. Here's the story as Melly put it. First of all, everyone's chilling at the studio late one October night in Florida. Melly, Bortland, Sack Chaser, and Juvie all left the studio and were presumably on the way home. At that point, an unidentified vehicle showed up and started popping off into the SUV they were riding in. Sack Chaser and Juvie both received critical injuries, while Melly and Bortland were almost entirely unharmed. At that point, Bortland drove Juvie and Sack Chaser over to the nearby hospital and hung out with them through the night until they both passed away from their injuries. A little while after all this went down, the following January, Melly decided that he was going to turn himself into the police. He made a post on Instagram and said the following: "To all my fans and supporters, no, I did not get locked up in Washington, but I'm turning myself in today. I want you guys to know I love you and appreciate every single one of y'all. A couple of months ago, I lost two of my brothers by and now the system wants to find justice. Unfortunately, a lot of rumors and lies are being said, but no worries, God is with me and my brother, Bortland. We want y'all to remember it's YNW family. I love you, Sack Chaser and Juvie. Free us." This whole move by Melly is a little confusing. Of course, Melly was pleading not guilty to the charges, as was Bortland. If you're pleading not guilty, why are you about to turn yourself in? What do you have to answer for? I guess you could easily make the case that Melly knew that the police were after him, and if he was cooperating, it would look a lot better when the case actually went to trial. Plenty of other rappers have tried to pull a TK and do the race, but that usually doesn't work out so well. Either way, it's just a little bit odd. There are a number of inconsistencies involved in the story as Melly tells it. First of all, the most glaring issue is the ballistics analysis. Pretty much immediately after finding the car everything happened in, the investigators noticed something strange. The bullet holes in the car were consistent with a firing angle and puncture shape that painted a completely different picture of what went down that night. They were very clearly fired from inside the car. To make matters worse, the path of the bullets pointed directly to coming from where Melly was seated. If that weren't already suspicious enough, nothing about the story was consistent. The car was found in a completely different location from where Bortland had said everything went down. When they actually did find where the chaos took place, they found shell casings that matched what the two had been seen with before everything happened. Not only that, but there was absolutely no other evidence that would have been consistent with a drive-by scene. People have also pointed out exactly how prophetic it seems that the lyrics to the track "Murder on My Mind" are. They really do sound like they could almost be a journal entry of what happened on that night, even though the track came out before everything happened. I mean, just listen to these bars. Yellow tape around his body is a f***ing homicide. His face on a t-shirt and his family traumatized. I didn't even mean to shoot him. He just caught me by surprise. I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back, and shot him twice. His body dropped down to the floor and he had teardrops in his eyes. He grabbed me by the hands and he said he was afraid to die. I told him it's too late, my friend. It's time to say goodbye. And he died in my arms, blood all over my shirt. I wake up in the morning, I got my on on my mind. While for right now this is the only actual case that's being brought to trial, both Melly and Borland are being investigated for another case that could carry a death sentence. In 2017, a deputy was taken out in Guilford, Florida. Apparently he had been hanging out in his car while off duty. Somebody decided to throw a bottle at his car, and as a result he started popping off into the crowd the bottle was thrown from. At this point it's not actually known whether or not Borland and Melly were involved, but they're definitely spotted in the crowd. It's too early to say what'll come of that case, but we definitely haven't heard the last of it. Regardless of what comes of Melly and Borland's current case, it's really likely that they'll have to answer for the deputy down the line. Weirdly enough, Melly isn't letting the stakes of his trial get him down. First of all, there's the fact that he was featured on a recent Fredo Banks single. It doesn't really sound like a jailhouse recording, so it's likely that Melly had recorded the verse on an earlier date. While this kind of thing happens, it's just weird to know that Melly is still appearing on records, even while he's in the circumstances he's in. He also recently made a post to Instagram somehow, even though he's not supposed to have a phone while in jail. Maybe he had some sort of access when he was moved, or maybe given the nature of his case, they allowed it. Either way, he did give his fans a little something just so that everyone know he was doing okay. For the time being, all I was able to post was a little blurb next to the photo of himself smiling in court, in his orange jumpsuit and all. And she said, "It's about time y'all can uncross your peanut emoji." I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be a finger. "I'll be home this year." I gotta be honest here, folks, while I'm rooting for Melly as much as anyone else, I think it's pretty hard to think that he's getting off in this one. It's even more difficult to imagine that the dude's gonna be home this year. I just don't think it's in the cards. Just to be clear though, Melly gets tons of support from his followers, despite the situation he's facing. I mean, just look at some of the comments on the posts. It's clear that his fans really are showing for the dude. The post also has 1.8 million likes. Not everyone was super positive about the upcoming verdict though. Somebody commented on the post saying, "Cat bro, if they was gonna let you out, won't wait if they didn't have no proof." Another fan showed their support by giving a simple, "Hope you're out soon, bro." Only time will tell, though. People on Twitter also had some things to say about high spirits Melly's been in ever since he got first picked up by the law. Someone said, "The faith YNW Melly has coming in home is the faith I need to start having myself." Another fan pointed out that even though there's a lot of discourse around famous rappers getting off on charges just because of their clout, that's definitely not always the case. He said, "I'm tired of rappers getting found innocent for serious crimes just because they're famous. Literally, Take K, Pooh Shiesty, and YNW Melly."
Hey, bro, if y'all enjoy it, man, y'all enjoy it. Appreciate y'all for watching. Leia, God bless you. Y'all for the shit.